The aforementioned Ashley Webster is here, also making her mark, Elizabeth McDonald. Eddie Gabor joining us, one of our favourites, and so too Scott Martin. All right, Eddie Gabor, you first, because you're sitting next to me. Is this the start of a new leg up, now that we've got some positive news on trade?
You know, I believe so. When I was on the show last month, I told you the two dark clouds over the market was trade and interest rates. And I did not believe we were going to go into a trade war. Now, nothing is signed yet, but the writing is on the wall that we're going to be heading into some type of agreement. Once we lift the trade war fears and interest rates stay tame, I don't think the 10-year is going to shoot to 4% overnight, that the path, the least resistance will be upwards, and earnings reports will be rewarded.
Okay. Ash, what do you got?
I just, you know, we're so excited. Oh, the trade war's on hold. All it takes is some trade official in Beijing to say, you know, we're never going to see eye to eye with the U.S., and boom, here we are, back where we are. I think getting so excited over one comment, you need to kind of temper a little bit. It's good that we're not at war, but it doesn't mean to say we won't be when it comes to trade.
But the point is they are talking, and they expect to keep on talking.
Yes.
If you have a trade war, you stop talking, you start firing.
I get that.
That's not
but
happening.
It's still very tenuous, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So for such a big move on one comment.
Well, we're up 250 points, and we are very, very close to 25,000.
It's a developing story. We'll stay on it for you. More after the break.
That's a punt. I'll be right back. Hey, Scott Martin, come into this, please. I want to talk to you about interest rates. 3.08% on the 10-year Treasury as of right now. I don't see that as a big negative. Do you?
It's getting there, though, Stuart. I mean, I agree with Eddie. He's right. It is trade and it is interest rates. But I'm not so sure that interest rate picture, guys, is that clear. I mean, if you look at the Federal Reserve and the economic data that they're relying upon, I mean, we've got at least, what, 2 more interest rate hikes this year. I believe that's what the interest rate curve is predicting, and what they're basically trying to get ahead of, as far as traders are saying, is that rates are going up. So to me, Stuart, if rates continue to bubble up here, and again, yeah, 3.08, and not a big deal on the 10-year, but hey, that's multi-year highs against a backdrop of a stock market that has loved the free money and the help from the Fed. It is slowly going away. To me, if rates go up here, that's dangerous for the S&P.
All right, we hear you. Lizzie.
Scott just nailed it. You know, why is the U.S. paying more on 10-year Treasury yields than Italy or France? I mean, it's 7 countries are paying less on their bond yields than we are.
Doing much
well, it's
better.
because of it's government spending fears and inflation fears.
Nah, we've got a rip-roaring economy.
I think it's the other.
That international demand will help keep our 10-year rate from spiking too high, too. We have to remember that as well, too.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
listen to the man, Lizzie.
So you're not worried about out-of-control government spending?
No, and the other thing, too, is the Fed doesn't want an inverted yield curve, so they won't heighten the short end too high either.
Look, may I just point... Right,
there you go.
Let me point out that the Dow Industrials are, I think, at the high of the day so far. Okay, we're only 5 minutes in, but we're up 264 points. That's the best part of 1%. It's 1%. That is a nice rally. 24,980. You're awfully close to 25,000. Let's have a look at GE, as in General Electric. They're nearing a deal. It says here to merge their transportation unit. Seems to me like they're getting rid of the train department, aren't they? That's what they're doing. Yeah. Would you buy GE at 15.33?
I would, and I still think there's...
Would or wouldn't?
I would not.
Okay.
I still think there's a lot of concern with GE. They're trying to shrink their balance sheet and tighten up because there's still that dividend, even though they cut it once, it's still not completely safe at this level. So it's a pure spec play.
Exactly. Now, you're talking as an investor, a longer-term investor. Scott Martin, you come into this as a trader. I can see plenty of opportunities to trade General Electric for 10 cents a share and make some money.
Yeah, you could ride this one, I think, for a quarter or two, Stuart, because I think the market's going to take this pretty well. You know, this is a division of GE that has an EBITDA of less than $1 billion or so, yet it fetched a valuation about $11 billion, which is kind of weird. I mean, it looks like this is kind of the great dismantling of the blue chip bomb that is GE. So expect more things like this coming out of them. Therefore,
there it is, 25,000.
my guess is the market's going to bid it up.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Scott, but we just hit 25,000, which means we're about, what, 1,200, 1,400 points away from an all-time record high. Yeah. I've got to get to the 60-minute story. Big deal last night. They asserted that Google has a monopoly in online search. Back to you, Scott. That whole piece on 60 Minutes portrayed Google as an evil company. Yet the stock is up $18. What's with that?
Yeah, you know, they say evil. I say terribly successful. I mean, we own Google. We have for a long time. We continue to buy it on dips. I mean, You know, this is one of those situations where the company that goes out and does the greatest things for the American people and the consumers it has and does them well and gets to be bigger and bigger parts of your life, they just attack it. And so to me, this was a great piece for Google because it shows how well they're doing their business and how much more they're going to be part of our future.
Oh, that's what investors care about. Okay, what do you got,
They made
Liz?
an important point, though, that Google is in the position of making or breaking web-based businesses by putting their own offerings higher in search results versus Yelp or Microsoft, Amazon, eBay, Expedia. All those countries have already complained to the FTC about it. One line out of there was really funny. They said Google knows more about you than your spouse because of what you're searching on. And that shows its dominance. 90% of search.
Yes, ma'am, that shows its dominance. You got that right, Liz. Whoa, moving on. Elon Musk sent a series of tweets to launch the new Model 3. Here it is. Tesla dual motor. That's what the name of the new Model 3 is. Means there is a motor in the front and a motor in the rear, one optimized for power, one for range. Another gimmick, Ash?
Well, yeah, so if one breaks down, you've still got the other. And these are two upgraded versions of the Model 3 sedan, which they still can't get out on a consistent basis. So all of a sudden, we have this bottleneck. They've had to shut down production. Now we're going to, release two upgraded versions of these. Maybe they should get out the original version first before they upgrade. I mean, they look beautiful. They look
wait
great.
a second. The original version was $35,000.
Correct. The first one is going to be 78,000.
Right.
And then there's another one down from that will be 40,000. But it's got an upgrade to it. So they're all-wheel drive. They can go to 0 to 60 and.
All right, Eddie Gabor, would you touch Tesla with a 10-foot pole at 284?
I would not. Again, it's too speculative of a play. And Goldman came out and said they may need some cash to carry on through 2020.
10 billion.
That's
cash,
a little
by
bit
the
of
way.
cash, right?
A lot of
Chump
cash.
change. All right. Now, you don't need to buy something in Starbucks if you want to use the bathroom, okay? They're doing damage control after the Philly incident. The stock's still at $57 a share. Does this...
So they're going to have to do damage control if everyone's using the bathroom as well, because it's going to become a free-for-all. And, you know, it's a difficult one for Starbucks. I understand that. But if you open it up to everyone, then it becomes a haven for the homeless and everyone else, and it becomes difficult. It could hurt their business.
What do you say, Scott Martin? I know that they're opening thousands of new stores in China. Does that make any difference?
They're tripling the presence there.
No, yeah, they are tripling the presence, Emek. You're right. I mean, that's really what's exciting to me about the stock. You know, we've owned Starbucks in the past, but my goodness, if you look at the chart, guys, you know, it hasn't really gone anywhere for a number of years. I think Ash is right. You know, Starbucks bathrooms are clogged as it is anyway. Can you imagine people going in there that aren't buying something in the store?
You know what?
The stock's going to need damage control after that occurs.
Lizzie?
Scott makes no, come on, don't do that. It's a trombone for Scott. You know what's really interesting? McDonald's is beating Starbucks in the afternoon when people are more price conscious about their coffee.
Really?
In the morning, they don't care about the price, but in the afternoon, they do have the price in their head, and they go to McDonald's now.
I agree.
It's interesting.
Oh, no, I've got to get this in real fast. President Trump has personally pushed the Postmaster General to double the rate that the Postal Service charges Amazon and other firms to ship packages.
And they've resisted that. They've pushed back and said, you know what, despite what you're saying, this is a good deal for the post office because you take Amazon away and they're really hurting. Now, the interesting thing is, and they're under contract, so you can't see the details of this contract as secret, which is interesting too. But if Amazon cuts them out entirely, which is in the process of doing by buying all these cargo planes, by creating hubs, airport hubs around the country, pretty soon they're not going to need the post office anyway.
Fair point. Amazon stock, by the way, is up $14 this morning in an overall upside market. So there you have it. Check that big board. That's a gain of almost 300 points. What a day to appear with us, Eddie Gabor and Scott Martin, both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. As I said, we're up nearly 300 points.